Hi, my name is Alex, and I want to welcome you to 5E Leadership's Deep Dive podcast. Please welcome my co-host and partner, Jordan, to the mic. Jordan, what's our topic for today?
Today, we are tackling something that, well, I think it's often seen as a soft topic, but it is, in reality, maybe the hardest currency in business. We're going deep on building a high-trust culture.
It's interesting you call it a currency, because I feel like most leaders, they hear culture of trust and they immediately think social stuff. Team lunches, trust falls, that kind of thing.
Right, everyone holding hands. But the research from 5E Leadership, and specifically from Rusty Calloway, argues that trust it's a hard economic driver. It's not about being liked.
Okay, so it's not about feelings.
It's not. It's about efficiency. The research points to a really specific mechanism. When trust goes down, speed goes down, and cost goes up. It's a tax.
A
literal tax on performance.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Every time you have to double-check someone's work because you're just not sure, that's a tax on your time.
Or when you see 3 other managers on an email just to cover yourself.
Exactly. That's a tax on the company's bandwidth. So high trust isn't a bonus, it's a dividend. Things just move faster.
That makes perfect sense. So our mission for this deep dive is to get past that abstract idea of trust and really look at the mechanics, the how.
Yes. How do you actually engineer this? And according to 5E Leadership's research, it's not magic. There's a playbook.
Okay, so if we're building something, we have to start with the foundation. And all the research we looked at says that foundation is psychological safety. Now, that term gets thrown around a lot, especially since 2020. What does it mean here?
Yeah, it's definitely evolved. If you look at leadership data from, say, before 2020, safety was almost always physical. Hard hats, safety vests, OSHA.
Right, not getting hurt on the factory floor.
Exactly. But the 5E leadership research shows this massive shift. Today, safety is about the things you can't see.
The invisible threats.
The invisible threats. It's about germs. Sure, we're all hyper-aware of that now, but more importantly, it's about the safety to speak up without fear.
So it's the difference between will a box fall on my head and will my boss bite my head off if I bring them bad news?
That is it, precisely. And I don't think leaders really grasp the physical toll that a lack of psychological safety takes. There's this one statistic from the Trust Outlook that was in our materials. It just stopped me.
What did it say?
It found that when trust is absent, employees, specifically women in this study, were 2 times more likely to feel physically sick.
Wow. Not just stressed out, but actually physically ill.
Physically ill. And on top of that, 66% more likely to fear being fired. And when you put those 2 things together, feeling sick and looking over your shoulder, your brain just goes into survival mode.
And you can't innovate in survival mode. You can't be creative. You're just trying to get through the day.
You just keep your head down. You don't offer that one idea that could save the company $1 million because the risk of getting shot down is just too high. Silence is expensive.
Silence is expensive. I like that.
I like that.
So, okay, if psychological safety is the soil, how does a leader cultivate it? You can't just order people to feel safe now.
No, that would probably do the opposite. The research says it all hinges on one thing: credibility.
Okay, let's unpack that. Because I think a lot of people confuse credibility with just having authority. The title on your door doesn't automatically make you credible.
Not at all. Credibility isn't some vague aura. Rusty Calloway's work breaks it down into a very specific framework. It's made of 4 pillars of trust that all have to work together.
Okay, the credibility framework, let's walk through them. The first one is character.
Character. And in this context, it's defined as doing what is right over what is easy. It's the integrity backbone. We've all seen a leader who's charming, who's smart, but then the pressure hits and they cut a corner.
Or they lie to a client just to smooth things over.
Yeah.
And the whole team sees it.
The whole team sees it, and they think, if you'll lie to them, you'll lie to me. Safety. Gone. Instantly. So that's pillar 1. Pillar 2 is compassion.
Compassion.
This is basically the ability to communicate you matter.
Yeah.
It's empathy in action. It's seeing the person, not just the employee ID.
I want to push on that a little because compassion can sound soft. Like, is this just about being nice?
That's the trap. It is not about being a pushover or lowering standards. It's about understanding context. But, and this is a huge but, it has to be balanced by the 3rd pillar, which is competency.
Right. You can be the kindest person in the world, but if you don't know what you're doing.
I am not following you into that meeting.
Yeah.
Think about a surgeon. I want them to have character and compassion, of course. But if they don't have high competency, if they can't actually wield the scalpel, I do not trust them.
I trust you with my feelings, but not with this project.
Precisely. Competency is about staying fresh, relevant, capable. And then the fourth pillar is contribution.
So delivering results.
You have to put points on the board. You can't just be a thought leader who never actually delivers anything. You have to help the team win.
So let me see if I've got this. Character is your intent, compassion is your heart, competency is your skill, and contribution is your output.
That's the formula. And the 5E research wraps all four of those in this meta layer. And that layer is consistency.
Consistency. That makes sense. The track record.
It's everything. You can't be compassionate on Monday and a complete tyrant on Tuesday. That unpredictability is poison. It actually destroys safety faster than just being incompetent.
It reminds me of the idea of servant leadership that's in the research. When you serve the team, you're signaling character and compassion at the same time. You're showing your intent is pure.
And when the intent is clear, the walls start coming down.
Okay, so that's the bedrock. Credibility built on those pillars. But I want to get tactical. A lot of the research focuses on one thing in particular, clarity. Why is clarity such a huge lever for trust?
There's a phrase in the materials that I think it's probably the most important quote of this whole deep dive. People trust the clear and mistrust the ambiguous.
People trust the clear and mistrust the ambiguous.
Yeah.
That really hits home. Ambiguity just breeds anxiety, doesn't it?
It's human nature. We fill a vacuum with the worst-case scenario. If the leader is vague, the team doesn't think, oh, they must have a brilliant secret plan. They think, layoffs are coming.
Or the project is failing, or I'm in trouble for something.
Exactly. So often, what looks like resistance from a team is actually just confusion. Hesitation is a clarity problem, not a motivation problem.
So how do we fix it? The research brings clarity into two different types, right?
It does. And this is a big aha moment for most leaders. You need to master both strategic clarity and communication clarity.
Okay, let's start with strategic clarity. That's the big picture.
It is, but with a twist. The research warns against those, huge 5-year plans that just collect dust. It proposes a tool called the 90-day quick plan.
90 days. Why so short?
Because the world moves too fast and people can only focus on so much. The key is, it's not a task list, it's a trust tool. The rule is 3 priorities, maximum, not 7, not 10, 3.
And those 3 things have to stay stable for the full 90 days.
That stability is everything. If the goalposts are always moving, people just give up. And there's a step in this plan I love called brutal honesty. You have to ask the team, where are we losing momentum?
That takes guts. And it takes psychological safety to get a real answer.
It does, but asking the question actually builds the safety. It shows you value reality over just toxic optimism.
Okay, so that's strategic clarity. Then there's communication clarity. This feels like the day-to-day, the emails, the meetings.
This is where trust bleeds out in 1,000 tiny cuts. A vague email leads to the wrong work, which leads to frustration. You know the cycle. So 5E leadership has a method called ODC.
OBC. Okay, break it down for us.
It stands for outcome, deadline, and clarifiers. So first, O for outcome. What exactly are we trying to achieve? Not work on the presentation, but finalize the Q3 data slides for the board deck. Specificity is everything.
Right. Don't make me guess what done looks like.
Exactly. Then D for deadline. When is it due? ASAP is not a deadline. Soon is not a deadline.
When you get a chance.
Yeah.
It's my personal favorite non-deadline.
Right. Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, that's a deadline. It removes all the guesswork. And then C is for clarifiers. This is the one people always skip.
What goes into clarifiers?
It's the constraints. Who needs to be involved? What's the budget? What does failure look like? If I ask you to plan a team dinner, but I don't tell you the budget is $15 a head, I've set you up to fail.
And that's so frustrating. It feels like you were tricked.
It completely erodes trust. So there's this little tactic in the research called closing the loop. At the end of a conversation, you don't ask, do you understand?
Because everyone just says yes. Nobody wants to look dumb.
Right. Instead, you ask, what questions do you still have? Or even better, just to make sure we're aligned, can you walk me through the ODC on this?
And if they can't repeat it back?
Then the confusion is on you, the leader. You say, my apologies, I must not have explained that well, let me try again. Taking that ownership is a massive trust builder.
I love that. It puts the burden of communication on the sender, not just the receiver. That's huge.
It's a game changer.
So we know we need credibility and clarity. The research connects these concepts with a model. It distinguishes between a scoreboard and a playbook. Can you explain how the 8 pillars and the 5 E's fit into that?
Yes, this is what makes it operational. Think of the 8 pillars, which include things like clarity, compassion, commitment, connection, and so on, as the scoreboard. It's the target. It's what a high-trust culture looks like.
Okay, so if I have those 8 things lit up on the board, I'm winning.
You're winning, but you can't just do a scoreboard, right? You can't just go out and do commitment. You need plays you can run. That's the playbook, and the playbook is the 5 E's.
So the 5 E's are the verbs, the actions you take.
Exactly. The 5 E's are engage, empathy, equip, empower, and encourage. These are the repeatable leadership behaviors that put the points on the scoreboard.
Give me an example. How does a specific E build a specific pillar?
Okay, let's take equip. When a leader takes the time to truly equip someone, giving them the skills, the tools, the resources, they are directly building the competency pillar on the scoreboard.
Makes sense.
But they're also building clarity because they're showing them exactly how to do the work. Or think about engage. Engage is about presence. It's stopping to talk to someone about them, not just about the work. When you do that, you build the connection pillar. You signal, I see you as a person.
And what about empower? That one seems pretty direct.
It is. Empower is how you create commitment. When you hand over a project and say, I trust you, you own this, that person stops renting their job and they start owning it. Commitment goes through the roof.
So it's a diagnostic tool, really. If you look at your scoreboard and see that commitment is low, you don't just yell, be more committed. You look at your playbook and ask, am I empowering my people?
That's it, exactly. If connection is low, you need to engage more. If competency is low, you need to equip more. It turns trust from a noun, this thing you hope for, into a verb, something you actively manufacture through your behavior.
It really does demystify the whole thing. It's a system.
It's a system that pays incredible dividends. But like any system, you have to be disciplined about it.
Okay, let's pull this all together. We've covered a lot. We started with the idea that trust is an economic driver. It affects speed and cost. Then we established that the foundation for all of it is psychological safety.
And that safety is built on a leader's credibility, which stands on those 4 legs: character, compassion, competency, and contribution. And all of it has to be consistent.
Then we got super tactical with clarity, using the 90-day quick plan for the big picture, and that ODC method for every single conversation.
And we tie it all together with the 5 E's playbook, using engage, equip, empower, and the others to build those pillars day by day.
It's a really complete framework, but we always say information without application is just entertainment. So what's the challenge? What can people listening right now actually do with this?
The challenge comes straight from the 5 E leadership research. Practice ODC today.
Just the very next email you write.
The very next one. Before you hit send, just stop. Look at it.
Have you clearly defined the outcome? Is there a specific deadline? Have you provided the clarifiers? If not, just take 30 seconds and rewrite it. It will save you hours later. I'm going to add one more. Pick one E from the playbook this week. Just one. Maybe you've been a little disconnected, so you choose engage. Or maybe your team is struggling with something new, so you choose equip. Pick one E and one person, and be intentional about it.
I love that. Small pivots, that's what changes a culture.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. It really feels like trust is something we have much more control over than we think.
We absolutely do. And I guess I'll leave you with this last thought from the research. Trust is built in moments. It's not built at the big offsite meeting. It's built in that Tuesday afternoon email, in the quick hallway chat, in how you respond to a mistake. One moment at a time. Go build it.
Couldn't have said it better. Thanks for listening to 5E Leadership's Deep Dive. We'll see you in the next one.